Hey guys, Toast Girls here. So, today I thought that it would be nice to go over different parts of the game and kind of explain how it works. And the next part I actually need to get done is, of course, making nights 4 and 5 appear work, which adds in Freddy. And currently, the only thing set up for Freddy is his jump scare, which I took the liberty of doing. That's all I have running right now for Freddy. So I thought in this video I can walk you through how I set up these animatronics and make them functional, and go over some of the other stuff in other basic things. So if you wanted to kind of also make your own FNAF game, you could follow along. So I guess the first thing to go over would probably be the office turning left and right mechanic, because that would take me forever to figure out. So if we just open any night, you see that we have this sort of feature that allows us to turn left and right. And then no matter where you are in the office, when you open the camera, it puts you back to the middle of it. This system was honestly, it was one of the first things I worked on in this, so it was quite a while ago. The code for it is here. So if the camera is closed, then it works. If it's open, it shuts all this down and it will just put it back to 0. The variables for this are over on this side somewhere. They are right here. Mouse X and Y. These variables are constantly changing to just wherever the mouse is. I know I could have used the sensing here, but in my eyes it's just easier to use variables I can actually see because I couldn't turn these on at all. So whatever, it works for me. So what I have done here is if the mouse is greater than 140, negative 140, which is about this section of the play screen here, once it goes past that, it will shift it, and well, as you see, there's 140 and then negative 140. So once it goes over that certain point of 140 degrees, or 140x, it will shift the entire screen. It moves at 15 steps a second until the X position of the office itself equals. Sorry. So when the X position of the office itself equals 120. So basically, what it's doing is the office is centered at 0, 0. And like you can see, if I start the game here, you can see the office's coordinates down here are set to 0x and 0y. When I shift this way, it's moving the entire office sprite to the right until it hits 120, and then it does the same where if you go to the right, it shifts the entire office to the left until it hits negative.
I wanted to record
It it repeats that depending on where you go, and then here I have set up, if we remove this, if camera equals 0, camera is the variable I use to tell if the camera is open or not. If the camera is closed, it will run this code pretty much. So if it equals 0, it will run all this. If it equals 1, which is the camera open, it sets the office back to 0. So it'll like it recenters you pretty much. That is how I got the office to work. How I have the fan blade to spin is just I have 3 different screens that it's constantly flipping between. That would be, where is it located here? Okay, it's this here. It it keeps flipping between it. Just every 0.05 of a second, it will switch to the next costume, and it repeats that unless Golden Freddy is active. Now, I'm not going to explain how Golden Freddy gets active. You'll have to find that out for yourself if you play the game. But when he is active, it switches the costume of the office, and I know it's a little poorly put together, to this version, and it will switch between these three, which still shows the fan spinning, except Golden Freddy is sitting in the office. And then once you get him to go away, it will just revert back to this. And that's pretty much it for the office. In here, in the sounds, I have the fan buzz that is just constantly playing, and that will continue to play the entire game as long as these three conditions are always met. So, like, when you run out of power, it will shut off. When you open the camera, it shuts off. And if the game is not in play, then it will shut off. The game and play variable just gets switched on after you start a night. Like, it gets turned on now. And yeah, that's it. This is just the power down kill timer. So after you're out of power, this is what will pick the random number to know how long Freddy plays his music box before he kills you. Yeah. So in our player sprite, we have this is another power down thing. This is what plays the music box here. It will play the music block. It plays music box, and it will repeat until the power down kill timer equals 0. Once it does that, it will move down to this, which if it equals 0, I don't know why I have another if there. I don't need it. It's just, it gives me closure. It stops all the sounds, then it plays this little glitch sound, which I know probably isn't the right sound, but it was close enough. It broadcasts out blackout, and if we come back into the office, you see when it receives blackout, it switches the costume to this. So it gives you kind of that creepy vibe of all the power is gone. And then Freddy will jump scare you after 1.5 to 5 seconds. It broadcasts Freddy jump scare, which then comes down in here, and when he receives it, it will run pretty much, and then this is the entire jump scare thing. As you see, every 0.02 of a second, it switches to the next costume, and that's all these frames until it reaches the end. And that's it for like power out and stuff. What else we got in player? Oh, in player we have the night move seconds timer. I also have a little note to myself to know what gets added every night. I showed that at the beginning of the video. We have if the current night is 1, night move seconds is 17, 2, 14, 3, 10. Of course, I don't have nights 4 and 5 in here yet because I don't have those. This decides what phone call is played. I have all the phone calls in here, or I only have the first 3, but it will wait 2 seconds, play the phone call, and then that's it. Up here, this is just what's constantly setting the variable of the mouse pointer to the X and Y. And this is just a list of things that just need to get set at the very beginning of the game. And yeah, like it sets the volume up to 100. It sets the backdrop for warning. This is the warning that you see at the beginning of the game. And then I have a second version here where it glitches. That code is actually right here. It randomly picks a number from 0 or 1. If it's 1, it will switch it to the glitch, then switch it right back. And that just gives it the random glitch effect. Alright, so you probably want to know how to get items to sit in the office, because I should have set the system to skip the screen. When you're in the night, right? As you see, the doors are a little Like, they're pretty good, and even the buttons, you can kind of select them when you turn them, shift and hold on the sprites. The doors, if we look in here, the doors are their own sprites. The buttons are their own sprites.
Hello?
And the lights inside the doors are their own
I wanted to record a message for
so
you
when you push these
to help you get
buttons,
settled in on your
it's a
first
little,
night.
like, if you
I
look
actually
closely,
worked in that
it's
office
kind of
before
an
you.
edge of the door
I'm
texture.
finishing up my last week
Shifts
now, as a
and
matter of
doors.
fact, so
Same on the other
I
side.
know it can be a bit overwhelming,
And you can kind
but
of
I'm
see
here
on
to
the
tell you
other door.
there's nothing to worry about.
I did my best.
You'll
It's very
be fine.
challenging to
So
get it
let's just focus
pixel perfect.
on getting you through your first
But
week,
how
okay?
we have this set up is I'll explain it with the door. Oops, that has to stay there. I'll explain it with the door. So when the game starts, it sets the costume to this, which is very crudely cut out, but it works. That and it sets it here. So the entire sprite it sees it for as big as it is. So this is the full door sprite, but we're only seeing this. So it's like a hitbox type thing, right? And it's all centered around this little middle point. So if the game is in play, it will go to negative 277 plus whatever the X position of the office is. Let me find that in here real quick. Oops. Where is it? Where is it? Sorry, I'm blind. It takes me forever to find these things. Here it is. So the office X position is always, like, as you see, it's 120 right now. I'm not sure why it's changing. But you can see, like, if we come over here, set it to 0, it's at that. So that's just all that variable is. So it will go to negative 277 plus whatever it is, and the right door will do the same, but with positive 277. And then the Y is just, I just have that set so to wherever, so it looks nice. I think for both of these that's -9. No, this one's -1, the other one's -9. So if the office X position goes greater than 0, so that's when you're turned all the way to the right here. I'm not sure why the door isn't going away right now. I'm going to check that out. Yeah, okay, that's weird. But as you see, when you turn all the way this way, it hides. You can kind of see at what point it disappears. But it does that for both. It disappears once it's all the way off screen. It just hides the sprite. It does the same thing for the buttons, but as you see, they're at different positions, even with the light buttons. And then the same thing with the doors. The same thing with the lights. The other thing, this is when in the in the left door button, there is when this sprite clicked, it is all this. If it checks to see if there is power left, and if the left door equals 0, which is open, it will set it to 1 and broadcast door closed. And then when it's clicked again, if the door is closed, it will broadcast door open. And I'm not sure why I did this in such a complicated manner here. I could have just done it this way too. Whatever. When it receives door closed, it starts this sound of the door closing. It switches it to costume 0, which is this first one, and it will simply repeat all 12 costumes every 0.01 seconds 12 times. That's it. And it also toggles the usage. The usage is a variable that is always at least 0.5. If we come down into here, I have the power variable set in here. Power starts at 99, just like in the actual game, and it only shows if the game starts, and if the power is out, it will hide again. while a game is in play, it will repeat this until power equals 0. It waits 7 seconds minus whatever the usage is, so really it's waiting 6.5 seconds. And every 6.5 seconds it changes the power by 1. If your usage goes up, your power is drained faster. It's pretty much how it works. So if you have the camera open, it's waiting 6 seconds. If you have both the doors closed and your camera open, it's waiting 5.5 seconds. That's how it works. And then it broadcasts this little power down thing. I have two sprites here for the each number. This is the first digit, this is the second digit. So when I receive power down, it goes to the next costume and it changes the second digit count by -1. If the power down count equals -1, it will set it back to 9, switch the costume back to number 9, and broadcast power down 10. In power down 10, when it receives that, it simply changes it by to the next costume. So it starts at 9, goes all the way down to 0. We can turn this off now. The time I have is simply 5 variables, or no, I'm sorry, not 5 variables, 5 costumes, and I did some research. It's about 80 seconds every hour that passes in FNAF 1. So that's what my game runs by. Every 80 seconds it goes down. And then if the time once the time equals 6, it will play this win screen. I gotta fix this because, as some people have already told me, once it hits the next night, it doesn't reset anything, and I gotta. That's a whole other can of worms. The usage is just another costume that changes depending on how many usage bars you're using. If at 0.5 it's always gonna have one, and then the more it goes up, it changes. And then this is the same thing that shows it. When the flag is clicked, it sets it to 0.5 to start. All right, what else? Oh yeah, the night number. This is just if it equals 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, it will switch the costume to. I know you can't really see it, but up here you can see it changing. Up underneath the time, it switches between all the nights. Might be night 6. Who knows? Down here we have the nose. The little nose honk. It's hard to click when it's small. Oh no, it has to. I think the game has to. I don't remember. I gotta fix that. Little nose honk. It's for that. I just used a little black dot like this. It's super small, and it's constantly going to -54 plus the Office X. Y is the 56. That's the Y level of it. So no matter where you turn, it's always going to be lined up with his nose. If the camera is open, it hides, and then when it's clicked, it just plays the boop. The camera screen alright, so in my first game, the reason I couldn't publish it is because there was so many sprites that Scratch couldn't save it. I had to save it to a USB, and it was so annoying. The reason there are so many sprites is because each camera frame was its own sprite, and those camera frames would change costume depending on what animatronic was on them. What I did this time around is the camera screen is all one sprite with 34 different costumes, and you can see all the different things that can happen on them. It was so hard to set this all up, but you can see they're all labeled by what camera they are and then what animatronics are on them. This one is just all of them looking at the camera. Bonnie, Freddy, Chica, Freddy, Freddy, none, Freddy, Bonnie, Chica. One. Alright, and for Foxy's cameras, they're different. I just have them labeled 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it's me. The hallway, none, Bonnie, 2B, none, 2B, Golden Freddy, 2B, B, N, B, N. It's really all it is. We have this camera, which when you open it, it plays this sound. It's just Chica rumbling through the kitchen. I have to add the second one for Freddy when we get to that. This is the sound of the camera changing. So this probably has the most code in the entire game. You can even see it's kind of laggy when sliding around it. So the camera with the most code in it is open 1A. As you see, each camera has its own variable, and because you can never be sure which camera you're on, I have it so it sets every single other one to 0 except whichever one you clicked on. So when it opens cam 1A, this is how it checks to change this down here. So we'll use 1A for example because it took the longest to do. So in here, it will set the proper variable to 1. As you see, it does that in all of them. If it's cam 5, it sets it to cam 5. 2B, it sets it to 2B. Whatever. It comes down here and it checks if Bonnie location is greater than 1, then switch the camera to just Chica and Freddy. After that, it will check to see if Chica location is greater than 1. If she is, it switches it to just Freddy. If Bonnie location is not greater than 1, it comes down here to the else. If Chica location is greater than 1, switch it to just Bonnie Freddy. If that is not true, then it comes down to the next else, which is... Alright, so we have a variable in here that will pick a random number of 1 to 45. If that number equals 1, and it randomly picks it every time you open the camera, if that random picks 1, it will switch it to the very low chance of this camera. Only if all 3 of them are on this camera and that variable is selected will you get this frame, and as soon as you click off of it, it's gone. And if this thing isn't met, it will just switch it to the regular all 3 of them on the stage. Pretty much every camera is like that. And I did some research, okay? I will admit I researched this way longer than I should have. There is a thing in the actuality of FNAF 1. This camera here, 1B. If Bonnie is on the camera, it cannot show Chica there. Even if Chica is in the room with Bonnie, it cannot show both of them at the same time. And Freddy also overpowers both of them. I don't know why, because this is the only camera besides from 1A that all 3 of them can be on at the same time. If Bonnie is there, Chica cannot be seen. If Freddy is there, neither Bonnie or Chica can be seen on the camera. So I took that into consideration when setting up 1B. So if Bonnie location is... So this is the stupid part. When I tried setting if Bonnie location is equal to 2 to set this up, it didn't work. I had to do it if it's greater than 1 but less than 3. I don't know why. I tried other ways. So if Bonnie location is greater than 1 and less than 3, it will switch the costume to just 1B-Bonnie. If not, it will check if Chica location is equal to 2 and then switch it to 1B-C, and if else, no. That's the way that Scott made it. That's the way I'm copying it. The only other interesting cameras would be 1C and whichever one the kitchen is. I forgot which one that is. Which one is it? Here we go. Cam 6. Okay. So 1C and 6. Alright, here's 6. So the thing with camera 6 is when it's opened, all the other cameras have this pan effect, which we can see here. When the camera's open, it slowly pans left and right, and they all do this. They all copy be the same thing. I didn't mean to move that. That will fix itself. Cam 6 is the only one that sits still, which is what we want. Oh dear, I clicked off of it. So when it's clicked, it will continue going as you see down here. Repeat until cam 6 equals 0. It will just go to cam, or it will go to 0 0, so it doesn't pan left and right. Cause I think it's over here. Yeah, this is the code that just sends it back and forth. So forever. Repeat until it equals 120. It will move zero point 0.5 steps to the right. Once it hits 120, it waits a second and then it goes back the other way. And then down here, if Chica location equals 4, it will play the kitchen noises and set the volume to 70. And then once you're off the camera, it sets the volume back to 0. That's it. 1C with Foxy, we have a lot of if else's. I gotta change. I forgot I gotta do that. So first, it will check to see what level. Actually, wait, no, I didn't need that. Sorry, I'm confusing myself. First, we will check to see what level Foxy is at. Foxy's level on nights 1 and 2 does not change at all, and I'll go over that later. But if he is level 1, it will sit at the curtain like closed. If it's level 2, it will switch to him peeking out, which we can see here. Level 2, you can see him peeking out. Level 3, he's standing out of it. Level 4, he's gone. The other thing I have to set up is the small chance that it will do this if you look at it. Like if you look at the camera while he's coming down towards your office. And yeah, and that just updates depending on this variable down here in Freddy, or not Freddy, in Foxy. So how Foxy works is alright, there's a lot of stuff going on in Foxy, but he's probably the simplest to explain because of how his mechanics work. I don't know if this is exactly how he works in the base game. This is how my version of him works. When the flag, it will broadcast this, which will set the Foxy move timer goal to a random number, 50 to 60 plus whatever the night move seconds are. So on night 1, this would be 50 to, I believe, 75. No, 77. So anywhere from 50 to 77, that's his movement goal. And you'll see how that comes into play later. So if the current night is any night greater than 2, so 3, 4, or 5, or 6, it will run everything inside. It will run all this. So if the game is in play, it will repeat this part until Foxy level equals 4. It waits 1 second and it changes his movement timer by 1. Then it goes down into this if. It checks this if every second. If cam 1C is open and the camera is open, like so if you're looking at Pirate Cove, it will change his movement timer by -2 every second. Now, this is what you want to do when playing the game. If you're not looking at Foxy enough, he moves to his second phase. So that's where the Foxy move timer goal comes in. It's changing the move timer every second by 1. When you look at him, it's technically deleting 1. I had to have it set as 2 because it adds it and then gets rid of it and the other one before it. If the timer is less than 0, it will set the timer back to 0. So this is like, you can't keep looking at him and send the timer down into the negatives. It won't let you do that. If then there's a second if underneath it. Once it hits this requirement, oh no, I'm sorry, it doesn't need to hit that. Every second as well, it's checking to see if they are if these are equal. If they do reach it to equal, it will change his level by 1. It will set his movement timer to 0, and it will broadcast Foxy changed and reroll Foxy timer. So it will reroll this to pick another random number, and it will broadcast Foxy change. And I'm pretty sure that I don't even think I ever used the Foxy change broadcast. Let me see. I didn't. Okay, well I don't need that in there. I don't think, but I'm gonna leave it for now anyway. Um, Sorry, this is just the code to if I so if you're ever playing this game or you have a friend playing this game and you want to prank them, if you hold down J and press any number of 1 through 5, it will run it that's just a little thing I have in there for testing, but I'm not gonna get rid of it. Consider it like an admin hotkey or something. I don't know. Uh, this is the code that makes it. So I have their jump scare sprites having all their code in them. Foxy's jump scare is just him peeking into the office, so it copies the same code as the office. As you see, this here is the same as this. Just so even when Foxy's jump scare is happening, you can still look around the room. Don't know why you'd want to. You'd probably be looking at him. Whatever. This is what happens when the broadcast Foxy jump scare is sent. It will show the sprite like this. There you go. It shows it. It sends it to the front layer, and it starts the jump scare sound. Once the jump scare sound has been started, it will check if the camera is open. It will close the camera. And this is just what repeats to send it through the costumes. As you see, there is 15 costumes. It's switching through those every 0.03 of a second. Excuse me, sorry. It will then hide the thing again, set game over to 1, set game and play to 0. That will pretty much stop everything else from working, and that's that's it. The windscreen I am going to make an actual animation for. Right now it just says 6 a.m. It pretty much just it plays the timer, and then it plays the kid here, and that's it for now. I also have to set up a whole system of setting it to the next night without breaking. I'm going to do that off camera. When you lose, it sets it to this. That's really it. It just sets it to that. The camera toggle, because as I'm sure you've noticed, when you go to open the camera, you're not clicking the bar. That was the thing I didn't like about my first FNAF game, is you had to come down here and click the camera bar. But as you see, I can just, if anywhere down here, it activates. How that is, I don't want full screen. How that works is it checks. First it checks to see if there's power. That's what this not power out equals 1 is. Then it checks to see if the mouse is within the boundaries of the camera bar. And then these two X's check to make sure it's inside of here and here. If it is, it will then check to see if it's under the highest point of the camera bar here. And then it also checks to make sure the game is in play. And this is where the toggle is. It will check to see if the camera is closed. It will open it. And if the camera's open, it will close it. So that's how you can get the smooth movement of just flick the mouse down, open it, flick the mouse back up, or back down and close it. There's also the little animation of it opening instead of the sprite just appearing. That is literally just an animation. So as you see, when you flick down here, open camera and close camera get broadcasted. Wrong sprite. When it receives open camera, it will this is where it changes the usage, and this is where it sets camera to 1. It's not being set to 1 in the toggle. It's being set to 1 in here, and then it broadcasts camera open. in here, it's yeah, when camera equals 1, it shows. So the camera is technically always there. It's just hidden when it's not open. And I'm not sure. Oh yeah, the broadcast is for something totally different. Um, Sorry, my dog is bothering me. I have to make a quick cut right here. We're back. My dog just needed to, go outside. So, anyway, that's the camera toggle. The camera map is simply just a sprite that when the camera is open, it shows, it goes to this location. Like, this is literally it. Every single button is its own thing that will just broadcast the open. That will then be noticed in here to run whatever code it is. It's it's simple. It goes to the front layer. That's really all it is. It goes to its spot. It's a button that you click. That's it. And I have the credits that get shown at the very beginning of the game. If you click credits, it shows you can't really read them in the screen. You can read them like this. And I think that is about it. We can start working on Freddy. There's a UI. It's just a box and then the dot so that when it's loaded forever, it's constantly switching between these two to give the effect of the blinking light or the blinking red circle, and it only shows if the camera is open. Um, Trying to see if there's anything else. Oh yeah. So static is just three, or I'm sorry, not three, 7 frames that get changed every second. So as you see when it's running, when it's running, it just switches the frame every second, even when it's not being shown. It's changing, and it only gets shown if the main menu. So if you're on the main menu like this, or if the camera is open, or if the game over screen is open. And if the game over screen is open, it will play that guy, and then that after you've seen this, it plays the other sprite. We have the main menu itself. So if the game is running, it will play the main menu music. If main menu open equals 1, it will show. If not, it will hide it. Whatever. When the flag is clicked, it will set the ghost effect on it to 100. This here is what gives it the fade in from the warning screen. As you see, it sets the ghost effect to 100. And then, where is it? Yep, when we get menu, load in menu, it will change it by -10, 10 times to show it fading in. And then it closes the warning screen and it opens the main menu. Once the game starts, it fades out the volume, and up here it plays the music. If the game is not, I think I already said that. I'm backtracking on myself. And then once you start the game, you receive menu fade out. It will then fade in the newspaper, show it for 3.5 seconds, and then fade that out too, and start the game. Ambience. Ambience was really fun to mess around with. I enjoyed making ambience. How this works is every 4 seconds, if Foxy's in Pirate Cove, every 4 seconds it will pick a random number 1 to 30, and if that number is 1, it will play the pirate song. Whoops. It will play his pirate song.
Da-da-dum-dum-dum.
That's it. With the circus organ, it's the same thing, but every 7 seconds, it picks a number between 1 and 40. If it equals 1, it will play it. The eerie ambience, it's the same thing, but every 5 seconds, number 1 to 20. And then cold presence is just the ambience that you're always hearing. That's always playing. It's never going to not be playing. And this is if the power goes out, it just stops all noise. I think I can show... It's somewhere in here. I can show what it looks like when the power goes out. No, I have to come here. I can quickly set it up to set the usage to 7. So we can start the game real quick, and when the game is started, it will... Sorry. I can set the usage to 7, and once it rolls once, you can just watch the usage drain away. Once the power hits 0, which it's a little buggy, it shows it as 8, that is it at 0. Shuts off all this. Hit Freddy scene. That's it. So, let's move on to the fun part. And that is animatronics. How do they work? What do they do? So, I already explained Foxy. He's probably the most easy animatronic to make. In here, we have Bonnie, his different locations, how he works. Let's go over Bonnie because him and Chica are pretty much the same. Freddy's pretty much going to be the same as well. Over here, we have the Bonnie jump scare, which is just this. And then it sets game over. Okay, this is what I used to test him. I don't know what that's for. So, here is my little explanation of it I have written down. He's got 7 movement spots. 1A, 1B, 5, 2A, 3, 2B, then the 7th is the office door. Let's grab all of these variables. Bonnie kill timer, Bonnie leave timer, Bonnie location, Bonnie random. That should be all we need. So, when we start the game, Bonnie's random timer is always going to be a random number. That's fine. When we start at night, we can see Bonnie's location is 1. If we change Bonnie's location, it sets his location up here to 2, and it moves him to the second camera. That is all in here. It's pretty much just a random number generator. So this is if Bonnie location equals 7. This is for all of. Wait, I just had a brain fart. Sorry, I've been talking for so long, my throat like really hurts. And I don't have anything to drink. If Bonnie location equals 7, it will set his kill timer to 0, even though it already is set. It sets it again, just in case he ever gets to your door, then leaves, then comes back. And then it will set his leave timer to a random number of 30 to 50 minus whatever the night movement seconds are. The night movement seconds just change how often they can move, which is set up here. So if the game is in play, every 5 plus however many night move seconds, so it's 17 the first night, every 22 seconds, it will run this. So after 22 seconds, it will pick a random number, 1 to 10. If that random number equals 5, it will change Bonnie's location by 1. That's pretty much it. Every 22 seconds, it will pick a random number. If that random number is 5, it moves them. That's it. We can see it's the same for Chica, except it's slightly higher, picks random 1 to 12 instead of 1 to 10. But that's it. If we pop in, you can see that when we move him, like, it's, I don't know what I was showing there by doing that, but we can see that it moves him. This Bonnie moved broadcast is actually in the camera screen here, and it's this long bit of code. When it receives Bonnie moved, it checks to see if the camera is open, what camera you're on, and what his location now is. So if you're looking at cam 1A, when he moves, it will do this little thing where it will switch to the static costume, which I believe is all the way at the bottom here. It switches it to this. So it switches the entire screen to that static, and you can see it up here. It will play this. And it will play this. I don't know exactly how long it is, but it will flicker the screen in and out until it shows that Bonnie is gone. And that's what it does to show him moving. And we can kind of see that if we open this again. I go to continue because it opens the night quicker. So if we're looking at 1A and he moves, you can see how it flickers, and then he's gone. It adds the creepiness factor. It's a thing in the actual game as well. We can keep an eye on him while we fiddle with other stuff down here. So this is all what happens if he reaches your door. So like I said, location 7 is your door. We can duplicate this actually and change it to 7. And now he's outside the door, and I have to close it. As you see up here, there's a kill timer, right? And then the Bonnie leave timer. I think the Bonnie leave timer might actually be broken by the looks of it. Oh no, it's not. Sorry. So we also need the left door close timer variable. So Bonnie's kill timer is alright. So we have the random timer. The random timer is set to 20, and Bonnie's kill timer is slowly ticking up. When you close it ticks back down, and it changes the left door close timer. There we go. Now that once the left door close timer equals 32, look, he's gone now. That's how it works. If we set him back to 7, see he's here again, we can close the door on him, and the left door close timer starts ticking up, and it sets the Bonnie kill timer back to 0. And this is his leave timer. So once the left door close timer equals 34, he will leave. It sets him back to a random 1A, 1B, or 5. He's still there. So we also have here his random timer. If we let the kill timer count up to 20, it will run his jump scare. So we're just going to let it go. That's it. It's fairly simple to make the animatronics work. So I still don't know why this door is not going away. I was going to say, alright, now let's go work on the other stuff, but it's not... I'm like, it's even set to when the flag is clicked to set it to hide it, but it's not. Alright, that's gonna be something I work out another time. Let's move on to making Freddy work. So, first we need to figure out what Freddy's movement path is going to be. So for that, we can kind of look at this and figure it out. So he starts at 1A. He has a location in 1B. He does not go to 5 or 1C. He doesn't go down any of these left positions here. He then goes to cam 7, cam 6, then 4A and 4B. But Freddy is special in the fact that once he is in the right hallway, he doesn't leave the right hallway. He also has the feature where if he is here, he can kill you. He doesn't need to be at your door. If he's here and you have the camera open, he will go into your office. You can close the camera, and then when you reopen the camera, he will kill you. That's pretty much it. So let's leave a little note for ourselves. He starts 1A, so 1 would be 1A, 2 1B, 3 7, 4 6, 5 4A, 6 4B, 7 office. They all have like 7 movement spots. So we'll add a comment. I'm sorry, I'm a little tired. 1 equals 1A, 2 equals, what did I say it was? 1B, 7, 6, 1B, 7, 6, and then these should just be 4A and B, yes, equals 4A. Alright, so this video is running a little long, so I'm going to do the rest of making Freddy in one part. I hope that this explanation helped you if you were looking to making your own type of FNAF and Scratch game. You can kind of course, like this game is open source, so if you want to come mess around with it, you can just come over to my profile. It's on here. Yeah. Like I even have the link here to my channel for this very video. And yeah, so you can just come, you can see inside, you can mess around with it, do whatever you want. But yep, that's pretty much it. So thank you for watching. If you made it to the end, comment something like I love Freddy's in the comments. And yeah, so if you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like and subscribe and whatnot. I don't just do whatever you do on YouTube, and I'll see you guys next time.